Greetings and welcome to Ghost Chat and Other Paranormal Things. I'm your host, Electric Elisa.
And I'm your co host, Jody. Hello, everyone. We have here in the studio Eric, who has some very interesting experiences and that he'd like to share with us. I think we're going to start with the lamp that you mentioned.
Um, I think we should start with the other
Okay.
because the
Okay.
lamp happened after. I'm doing it the way that it occurred. Is it
Sure.
okay?
Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Go ahead and
Okay.
share whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I'm laying here one day, and I'd been sick for 2 or 3 days, and deathly sick. It felt like, and um, I had my girlfriend on the line on video chat, and she was praying for me and everything, and I can just remember waking up and saying, God, please kill me. That's how bad I felt, So it was pretty rough. And the third day, I'm laying here, and this huge, just lightning bolt that just comes and hits outside my window. I mean, it shakes the whole house and everything. And I jumped straight out of bed, and this is from being ill, that I couldn't even get out of bed for 2 days. I jumped straight up, and I could feel the electricity running through my body pretty much, like it had arced off or came through an outlet or something. Somehow it got to me though. And I like to call it kind of like the God particle, because from that moment on it seemed like I I was talking to God. I was getting feelings in my body I'd never felt before. Being around negative energy and positive energy, and it was very intense. Now it's dulled off, from what it was from the initial strike.
So I have a question.
Um,
When you say positive energy and negative energy, do you mean what you were sensing from people or situations, or what was it?
Anything. It can be
Okay.
objects. It can be it can be a monster in the store telling you, it could be anything. But
Okay.
mostly, you'll get most of your vibes from people. You'll, like I said, my whole back will turn hot, like you turned a heating pad on high, down all the way down the side of my back and on the top of my shoulder blades. And I mean, I can't be around some people. I have to leave the room. It gets that bad.
Wow.
It just burned me up. And like there's this one woman at work. She gossips a lot about everybody.
Oh, I hate that.
And like I can't be around her because it's so negative. That it just runs me out. And I sense it in the clients whenever they act up. By the way, for the listeners, I work in a group home for mentally handicapped individuals, and what I believe and from what I've seen, they're more susceptible to paranormal things than we are.
Yeah.
And they can see things. Their mind is like a toddler, and you hear these toddlers seeing things that we don't see. So you kind of got to look at it like that. But they're also easily possessed by things too. A demon or an entity that wants to get into my body or your body is going to have a harder time than it is with them because they can't fight it.
Right.
And I see it all the time. And these entities or demons or whatever you want to call them, they come and go. And sometimes quickly, sometimes indefinitely they stay. Sometimes they'll stay for a week. It's unpredictable until they get what they want a lot of times,
Right.
which could be red meat. For them to eat red meat, I don't know why red meat is a big one, but it's a lot of requests that I get
Yeah.
from them. But anyway, we'll get to the video. You have the video, the audio of that, right?
Yes, I do. I finally got to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so this is a few weeks after the strike, and like that whole time, I'm just taking everything in and just trying to use my senses rather than be scared of it and be like, oh, I actually tried to utilize it and see where it would take me because I was noticing a pattern of things with it. And I just I went to work that day, and I made them supper, and everyone sat down at the table, And I prayed over supper silently. We can't, like I said, we can't discuss religion at work out
Mhm.
loud. They can. It's their home, but we cannot. We're not allowed to say anything.
Okay.
Um, and standing there silently, I said, God, I said, if you're so powerful, then why do you let this happen to these people? Why are they born like this? Some with cerebral palsy and different things.
Mhm.
And I questioned God on it. And directly after, we'll call him Jose, my client,
Mhm.
he walked back into his bedroom and he just pretty much stuck his nose in the corner and just stood there straight up and started saying, "The power of Christ compels you," in the demonic voice that you have the video of. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can do that here.
No, I'm not sure how we could do that, but I know that I was gonna tell the listeners what's really strange is that I could not get that video to play. No matter what I did, I couldn't save it onto my phone. I would not play. Finally, when he released it in a group chat with me and Elisa, we got it to play. But it
Yeah.
just
I
but I've never
couldn't
had
save
a
it to
problem.
my phone either. I could only share it from the place that I had it,
Yeah.
but I
I've
would save it to my phone, and then I would go in my gallery, and it wouldn't be there.
That's so weird, and I've never had a problem playing a video before. I have strong internet, so it's just strange that that particular video just would not play for me.
Yeah, that
I've
is
sent that
sure.
video to other people as well,
Yeah.
and they've never had a problem.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'm glad I finally got
so
to hear it. It's terrifying.
yes, and even did you hear, like, maybe 8 seconds to go? Can you hear that, like, like it?
Yeah, I did hear that, like, it sounded like a hiccup,
It's like it left his
a
body because it
a
stopped
gasp.
immediately.
Right.
That was the one I
Mm.
I couldn't hear, but I haven't gone back to try and see if I could hear it again.
Start from, like, the 10-second mark
Okay.
and look at about 6 seconds, and you'll hear it go like, you can
Yeah.
hear it, like, it's like it just and then he stopped.
Okay.
But then, an hour or 2 later, it was room cleaning time, and it was his room cleaning day, and I go back there, and I'm helping him clean his room, and me and him are in his closet. Well, back behind me is a picture on the wall, and it's hanging on a nail, and it just slapped right in the middle of the floor.
Wow.
That
So,
is
like, somebody
weird.
picked it up and just threw it down
Mhm.
there.
What was it a picture of? Do you remember?
Um, I don't even know. I think his
Okay.
room is, like, Western themed, they
Okay.
have theme rooms. Um, so that was an experience in itself, that kinda freaked me out. That was my first
Mm.
run-in with something of that nature. I had already felt the negative energy, but I had never experienced an actual, experience like that
Like
Right.
a
because
possession.
that was more vocal and,
Mhm.
that was this guy is soft-spoken. Like, you
Mhm.
can barely hear him speak, when he
Mm.
talks to you, and for that to come out of him was terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm.
And,
I
so
think
we had
having I think having the picture fly off the wall would be a bit alarming because
Yes,
yeah,
I don't think I
it
have
freaked me
had
out
that
as
happen.
well, but not as much as the voice did. I just somehow something told me that that was as real as it gets,
yeah.
mm,
Mhm.
you know? And, this leads to the story about the Watts house and the lamp that you guys haven't heard anything about yet, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
um so the Watts house is a totally different story in itself. This is one of our homes that, 4 individuals live in,
Mhm.
and it used to be an old doctor's office, and it has an upstairs and a downstairs full apartment, okay? But the downstairs we're not using, and the rumor is that this doctor's office back in the '50s and '40s would do abortions in the basement without telling anyone, it was kind of a secret thing back then. You didn't That's not
No.
something you told your neighbor, or, many people have seen a tall, dark entity there walking down the hallway. It's where I always see him, and we've also seen children in the kitchen area. You only catch a glimpse, and then they're gone, usually.
Mhm.
The big guy I've seen quite often. He's very tall, like, much taller than me, and I'm 6 foot, but, um so this is after the incident with Jose. I'm down there, and this is I'm coming into tune with my senses even more, and I start sensing evil there,
Mm.
and I could sense it, but it wasn't that strong until I would move around the house. And I finally got into one of the client's bedroom, and I'm just looking for things that are off because a lot of times you can figure out a lot by your surroundings.
Yeah.
And my client's room is all the walls had just been washed, and they just painted her room and everything. But there's this vent that they painted in the top of the, um, going from the attic down, I guess like a um, air conditioner vent or something.
Mhm.
But it looked all just corroded and nasty, and just something told me there's where your evil's coming through.
Hmm.
And I these 2 days that this occurred, I was training a new girl, and before I ever went into that attic or anything, I told her I was going up there to get something. Said I didn't know what it was. I said, but it was the source of evil in that house.
Hmm.
And God told me that. You know, I try to keep God out of it as much as I can, but I can't,
Mhm.
because He did. And this woman, this was the first day we had ever met, and I'm training her, and I'm telling her about this stuff because I'm just learning it, and I need somewhere to vent about it. You know,
Sure.
all this stuff's hitting me at once, all this supernatural stuff, and I'm like, whoa, somebody's got to know about this, or I need to talk to somebody about it.
Mhm.
So I talked to her
Yeah.
about it, and it's the first freaking day at work, though. You know, so it's freaking her out.
Yeah.
But she told me, she said, I've had 5 husbands. She said, and my last one was a child molester, and I didn't know it.
My God.
And she said, and God came to me after I left him and told me I had a purpose too. And she said, I don't know what it is yet. Um, and so the day goes on, I train her, and we go home. Well, the next day I come prepared. Um, and as soon as I get there, I'm telling her, I'm like, look, I'm going up here to get this thing. And I I don't know what it's gonna be or what. And she said, "Well, I brought you something." She said, "I know you didn't have a Bible, so I brought you a Bible." I
Hmm.
said, "Cool." And, we sat the Bible on the counter, and, I'd already had the house Bible in my hand. And I go into my client's room, and this client had died 6 weeks prior, okay?
Oh.
Now, she died with I don't know if I can talk about this. I hope you can but, um So, I go into her room where the attic, stairs,
Mhm.
and I pull down these stairs, but the first thing I notice is her closet door is completely open, and almost everything in her closet is jerked out into the floor where I can't get to that attic.
Oh, wow.
That's the first thing I notice, and those rooms are kept spotless, like, we don't do that, we would get jumped onto. So, I throw everything back in the closet, right, and I pull down the attic, stairway.
Mhm.
I'd be damned, there's a dresser right here that stopped me.
Oh, wow.
If I could only pull it down the first notch and then lay the ladder sideways on the chest,
Mhm.
so I'm at a 90, it's at a 90 like this. And,
Mhm.
I get a chair, and I take my Bible, and I climb up on this thing. I mean, I'm literally climbing up there now. That's how determined I am that this thing is up there. And I get up there, and I sit down, and I put my Bible in front of me, and there's, like, I don't know, 6, 7 cardboard boxes in front of me just full of Christmas stuff and everything else, right?
Mhm.
And, I said, "God," I said, "Where is it?" I didn't wanna put faith in myself for it to be a coincidence for me to go up there and just find something. Anybody could do that and say, "This is it?" So, I put my faith in God again, and I sat there and I said, "Where is it, God?" And I don't know if you've been in, like, the attic of houses, but there's these little twirly bird things. They go around and around, they're metal, and what they're
Mhm.
used for is empty. Well, it's like this it started twirling, and like this little beam of light comes down in this box beside me, going on the right to me. So blindly, I just take my hand and I reach it into this box and I pull out that freaking lamp. There's like 20 items in this box,
Yeah.
you know, and I pulled the lamp straight out, and my body began just to burn, my back again. I can just feel it. And this lamp, I think I sent you all a picture. It's a lamp of the
Yes.
apple from the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that's what it is, right? Stained glass lamp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I bring it down and I show it to the girl that I'm training, and she's like, "Oh crap! Wow! I can't believe you just went up there and got that." And so I take it to my car, and I'm sitting there. Well, then I go in and I open the Bible that she gave me. I pulled the wrapping off of it and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I opened it to sign it. And this is the passage that was on the very first page of the Bible. The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Psalms 119, 105. When I opened that Bible to sign it, you had that saying there, and a lamp that I just pulled out of an attic with the faith of God, you know.
Oh.
And so I'm going to tell you something that just happened about 10 minutes before I called you.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. I really, really, really couldn't believe it. Like, I said, God, I was nervous about coming on your show and telling
Yeah.
people this. I said, please help me in some way. And I always just open my Bible to a random page. And I opened to this page, and the first passage I get is, the word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
Huh,
And
that's
I put
funny.
my word on a stack of Bibles that just happened. The same
Wow.
exact.
That's cool.
It is really cool. And it makes my faith in God even stronger. I don't push my religion on anyone or anything, but um I've done I've been through it with this. And I have went to war with these things in a sense,
Yeah.
in my own way.
Yeah.
So I'm out here fighting the good fight. I don't want to go into exorcisms too much, but
Yeah. Sure.
No, I don't blame
um
you. That sounds like, yeah.
it's not fun.
Uh-uh.
Um I'll just put it this way. I fasted for a month and 4 hours of straight praying just to rid one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the fasting's the hard part.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride, and I still continue to get those feelings. And
Mm-hmm.
if I were to fast, I know it would come back just like that. It would really kick in.
Yeah.
People might say that it's coincidence that this has happened, but I don't think so. Even up to this point, even up to this point, it's just showed me nothing but the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Right.
I think that was a little too on the nose to be coincident.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that open that and it be there. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting here
Yeah.
praising God before I called you guys. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think there are any coincidences. Everything happens for a reason.
I will say though, um, that these entities have reacted to other gods' names, because I've tested some things that the normal priest. I'm not a priest, so but the
Mm-hmm.
normal priest would try as just Jesus Christ, Yahweh. But like they reacted to names such as Amun Ra, which is the sun god, Egyptian sun god. They
Okay.
yeah, so that they reacted to other things other than Yahweh and Jesus Christ,
Mm-hmm.
which I find very interesting as well.
That is
Um,
interesting,
they
but
they
it
had a
definitely
strong
that
reaction to
definitely
Amun.
opens up an area for research, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
people who get more into that nature of the
Yeah,
paranormal.
yeah. If they would try maybe mentioning the names of other gods,
Right.
maybe it will help.
What is the one people are really into these days? Odin?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's the underworld god, isn't it?
Yeah,
I,
I don't know.
he would be my he would be my arch enemy,
Yeah.
the thing.
But yeah,
Um,
there's a lot more people following different like Norse
yes,
religions
there
and
is a
all
lot of
that.
different things now. A lot of people are getting into the Anunnaki a lot
Mhm.
more than they used to, which I believe they were here, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely something more of those pyramids than what we know.
Oh, yeah.
hmm and I think that this is the age of discovery that this stuff is finally coming out. You know,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what
yeah.
more comes out this year. So
Um,
far, there's been a lot of dead ends.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You see a lot of
Mhm.
conspiracy theories on
Mhm.
TikTok and everything, and um, I don't know. Yeah, you don't know what to believe, really.
No.
You just kind of have to go with. I believe the Earth is flat in a sense, more flat than it is round.
Okay.
Um, I've been on a plane. I mean, it doesn't take a genius.
Yeah. I think Joe talks about, and Joe is where I met Eric, by the way, Joe Gillespie.
Okay.
He follows Joe too. And he talked about that he believes there could have been giants that maybe built the pyramids or that built Stonehenge
Oh
at one
yeah.
point. Joe talks about that they found, he's shared some photos of some giant bones that were found, in
What
the
about
earth.
all the photos of the huge trees?
Yeah, that
That
too.
the plateaus that are huge trees. They're trees. There's nothing else they could be.
Right. No, exactly.
And then you have old folk stories like Paul Bunyan chopping down trees with one big chop, and you think
Right.
these giants could have been Paul Bunyan.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot more truth, I think, to some of our folklore than what we know.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the mountains here, and I have trees as big as redwoods back here that are fossilized like that.
Yeah.
That's really
So,
cool.
mhm.
That is cool.
I've been up inside of them. Some of them have caves, because trees are hollow on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get up in there.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's cool. I would totally do that.
Yeah, I would too. I feel like
You
Yeah.
guys have never been to Appalachian Mountains?
I have never.
no.
I haven't been that far northeast before.
Mm-mm.
You guys are into the paranormal and everything. Y'all guys would like Waverly Hills, I bet. It's
Yeah.
an old sanitarium in Louisville.
I've heard about, yeah, that's been featured on a lot of those
Yeah, it
shows.
has. They have the death tunnel and things,
Yeah.
Death
where they
tunnel. Ugh.
hauled all the bodies out from tuberculosis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have heard about that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
then
Speaking
never
of,
did
yeah,
experience it,
speaking of
but
TB, there's a big outbreak right now.
yeah,
really,
Yeah.
that's all we need right now.
Yeah.
I thought they got rid of that long ago.
Uh-uh. No, it's always been around. But it's often in very smaller populations. Not really a whole lot of exposure to the general public. But over time we've seen diseases get stronger.
Yeah.
Um,
We had a guy
because
they said at
yeah,
work that was dormant one time. Have you ever heard of that?
yeah,
Oh,
hmm
I haven't. Oh, wow.
yeah. Good to stay dormant. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I have one client down there, and her biggest word is pig. She'll go around saying pig, 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 pig.
Oh,
Well, if
wow.
you read your Bible, a lot of the demons that they begged Jesus to be put into pigs instead of being sent to hell.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found a lot of these spirits or entities or demons, whatever they are,
hmm
they are, they seem to be reformed. Like not a lot of them are really causing hell. They're just trying to get by like us. Is honestly what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know. And then you have your really evil ones like one in Jose. That I've seen him walk by people, and I've seen him turn them instantly
Oh,
to
wow.
bad behavior, just like that, just with the click of his mouth or the pat on his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And I have went behind him and prayed behind him, and you can just see the changes, and then he'll come back a minute later and do it again. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm constantly following him around that house, and not being able to tell anybody or say anything out loud. I'm having to pray all year, in silence.
Yeah.
Try to get rid of these things and it's like it seems like he's upper ranking, like he can just produce these things at will,
Yeah.
but they're very weak. Like, but the one that's in him, I can't touch it. Even through the fasting for a month and all that, I couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
So whatever is in him is very powerful.
Have
Wow.
Have you
Mm,
ever thought about talking to a priest or anything?
I haven't. I've been my own priest. I've done it.
Mhm.
I've done all of this by trial and error. I've never really and this, and that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be a good idea. Maybe it could even be a profession for me because some people have it and they don't, and some don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You don't have to be a priest to exorcise a demon. I will tell you that. You
Oh.
do not have to be. Many people will say, "Oh, you couldn't have done that. You're not a priest." I've performed enough to know, you know, without saying too much.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think as long as you
Bathtub
know belief,
exorcism, things like that.
you're right. Right.
You ask God to bless the water, He will bless the water. It's not the water that you're making that's holy. God makes it holy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, and I've argued with these things. You can tell when they come out and whenever it's the person.
Mhm.
Have you ever done them with somebody? Have you ever had help?
No,
Okay. Mhm.
always alone. Um, I can talk about this one because it's my grandmother,
Mhm.
but she's in a nursing home, and these nursing home guys, they are full of these things. I mean, absolutely full. And I hadn't been in see her in a while. She's 92. She's on her deathbed now, but I hadn't been to see her in a while. And after all this happened, God said, "You need to go see her."
Yeah.
So I went, and when I got there, I didn't like what I saw. She just looked bad, you know, very, very bad. And I stayed, and some God just told me that it was Baal, which is Satan's right hand man.
Oh.
And I prayed against Baal for about 4 hours straight. And Baal is the prince of darkness, lord of the flies, if you do your research. And he is responsible for the creation of death and sin. But um, when I got done praying and I was reading the Bible too to her, a single fly flew out of her throat,
Oh.
and she hasn't spoken in years. She looked at me and she called me Isaiah.
Wow.
And if you do your research in the Bible, Isaiah fought Baal on the mountain and won. He's the only person I know to have done that. And I didn't I was just praying for my grandma.
Mhm.
The times that I was praying for her down there, that 4 hours, there were people in their rooms screaming bloody murder the whole time I was praying.
Oh
Like
wow.
3 or 4 of them, just screaming.
Wow.
Um, that was a wild the nurses were just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" It was an experience.
Yeah.
Um, may seem far-fetched to some. I really don't care.
Yeah. You know what
But
you experience.
you were there. Other people
That's right.
weren't. So,
Right.
That's right.
um,
They didn't see what I saw. They didn't yeah, but the nurses saw. The
mhm.
nurses saw those people screaming in their room to the top
Mm-hmm.
of
I'm
their
sure.
lungs. Every time I go in there, "What's he doing here?" These people were asking, they're freaking out because they know what I did last time, you know? Ball is not one that you can just go toe to toe with and think you're just gonna win.
Yeah.
He doesn't play. And I was at my strongest at that point, though. Like I said, I had fasted for over a month. That's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Um, and it worked. I came back the next day to check on my grandmother, and you know what? She looked beautiful. Everything had changed. Her appearance, the darkness circles under her eyes were gone. It was amazing. It
What
was truly
transformation?
amazing. Hmm. I can tell even if I walk into a convenience store with a group of people, I can tell you which one of them is the bad one, even if they may not look like it.
Really?
Hmm. It's it's pretty wild.
Yeah, you just have that intuition about you.
It just it burns me up right there, right where your wings would be if you were an angel, which is
Yeah.
the wild part too. You know,
That
Well, I
is
hope you're not
weird.
feeling that now.
Right?
no, I'm not.
We're good people. We're decent people.
If it would work, I don't know if it would work through the phone.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
have to be present.
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
that energy would have. I don't think it will travel through like that.
Yeah,
Good.
you're far away. Lisa and I are pretty close to each other. We're just
Mhm.
Arizona and California, but you're way off in the, you
I've
know.
been to Phoenix. I've been to Fresno. Been to L.A.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
But
not a fan of LA.
I'm not a fan of Fresno either.
Oh, really? I've been there myself. I've been there too. Not very much,
Um,
but
I was there a total of about 10 minutes, and I was already getting flipped gang signs.
oh Lord,
Oh,
don't know.
yeah, no.
And I
Time to get
didn't
out. Time to
I don't
go.
know. I'm a country boy, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know no things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jody and I didn't really grow up in the big city either.
No.
Yeah.
We grew up in
Well,
a city, but not really a big one.
No.
my graduating class had 17 in it.
Oh
Wow.
wow. I
Yeah.
don't
The
even know
whole
how many
school
mine
had
had.
like
I don't understand.
205, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. I know we had a lot.
Lisa, I probably had the same number as you, I bet.
You
You only
probably did.
graduated a couple years after me.
Yeah.
Same school.
Yeah.
We've known each other, oh my God, since she was 14 and I was 16.
Yeah.
We've known each other forever and a day. Oh, the good old days to be young.
Yeah.
It's really
Uh,
hard to explain this stuff rather than typing it. It's easier to type it for me.
Is it?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, than actually talk it, because well, this is my first time and
Yeah.
Well, I can understand that because sometimes people are better at writing than speaking.
Yeah. That's true.
yeah, and I can make it, I don't know, more understandable, I think. Um, but it's good that you guys get to talk to me and see that I'm really legit, I'm kind of,
Mhm.
Yeah.
uh,
You
Yeah.
seem
you know,
very
my-
sincere.
I try to keep an open mind with it.
Me too.
Um,
Yeah.
but I can't ignore the fact that God did it. That I'll never deny that. And it doesn't. Hey, it doesn't matter what we believe. There can still be a God. There can be aliens and be
Sure.
God. There,
Sure.
you know,
They still
something's
exist.
real,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he touched me, and I think he helped me.
That's awesome. What is
And
Jose like nowadays? Is he normal? Is he
same thing. I
same?
mean, no, he's not going back there and doing that,
Right.
but yeah, he still does his thing. He's in tune with him, the demon.
Okay.
That's the word, the bad. Um,
Mhm.
he was introduced into Satanism by another client that came in that learned it from his father. So he is actually into it. Like we had to take his internet away, um,
Oh,
and everything because he was doing the 3 a.m. challenges that they have online. Um, like he was telling me things to look up at work that were like Christian hate, killing Christians.
yeah.
He's talking about sex with animals, sex with
Yikes.
babies.
Yikes.
Things that the normal person just doesn't think about.
Right.
And he wants to be like a baby. He wants to wear diapers.
Hmm.
It's very, very morbid. It's something's very off by him, and like I said, I can't touch it. I
Yeah.
tried. It may be Lucifer himself, who knows? But I
Uh,
can't touch it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's well protected.
so you're up in the mountains with a lot of activity that people
Mhm.
talk about. Is there anything that in particular have you experienced like mimics or I hear about those a lot in the mountains?
No, I had a run in with ETs though.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
Uh-huh. on the way home, I was walking one day, and um, I don't know. I came to this gas station, and it's a rundown. It's not working anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just sitting there, and I look over across the way, and there's like this creek or this river going by, and I can see these people on the hill, and they're not very far away from me, but they're like in you've seen the movie Predator, right?
Yeah.
You know how Predator could camo itself, like the camouflage, it could just
Mm-hmm.
blend in with its surroundings. Well, that's what
Yeah.
these things
Yeah.
do. It's like, and you could tell they were male and female, just by their features. You know, there were two females and like seven males, and the two females were with males, like they were couples. You could tell they were together,
Mm-hmm.
and they had their weapons and crap. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like you just met a little green man. You know, no,
Yeah.
these things had facial features and like, but they were almost just like us except for their facial features.
Hmm.
And they spoke to me. Remember, I told you that I see writings everywhere,
I
like
do
on the
remember
wall,
that.
on the
Yeah.
ceiling. This actually was before the lightning strike. I could see these,
Oh wow.
so that didn't occur after the lightning strike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Um, I see these if I get very distressed. Um, I've seen them near death, which has been a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and this happens if I'm very distressed about something, and it's like it gives me the answers.
Okay.
But when the way this relates back to the ETs is it's also how they communicated with me, which is very strange. You know, um, I was talking to them, and then I could just look on the road in front of me or on anything really, just anywhere I looked, and they would speak back to me. And they
Hmm.
told me, they said that a war is coming. Um, and you know, you hear this on TikTok and all that, and I just kind of skim over it like, yeah, yeah, buddy. But they told me that a war is coming, and I'm like, well, you know, they said the bad ETs and the good ETs and us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, who's going to win? Are we going to beat them? You know, I'm asking questions because,
Yeah.
Right.
and they said that they are going to win. And I said, well, how? You know, I'm not one just to sit there like a knot on a log. I want to ask some freaking questions. You
It.
know, I'm going to talk
Yeah.
to you. You're not going to scare me like everybody else. And I've already seen enough.
Right.
And they were like, we have these weapons, these eyepieces that wherever we look, we can disintegrate it, disintegrate something.
Huh.
I'm like, bullshit. I mean, honestly, you know, I'm
Yeah.
like, proof. You know, at this point, I'm my own biggest skeptic and critic. You know, when it comes to things, so I'm like, prove it. And I give you my word, there was this round being of light about that big around.
Mm-hmm.
It came and went down my whole leg, back up my leg, and then they just like turned it off.
Oh wow.
But it was like they were showing me, you know, um, their weaponry, their technology. They were almost boasting when they were talking to me. They were making jokes. They were, I mean, it wasn't like all serious, you know.
Did you ever sense that they could be future humans?
Like I said, they were very humanistic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I could tell that wasn't was their facial features, and they were like spines that would come off of them. You know, maybe reptilians. I don't know. You know,
Oh
but
yeah.
maybe they were reptilian because that was they almost remind you of Predator. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, they say they put these things in her face in these movies and things too. You know,
So were those like the bad aliens?
no, they were the good one.
Oh, okay.
From the way they spoke to me anyway, they said the bad ones were really bad. That were
I wonder who
um,
the really bad ones are. That's now I'm curious.
don't know. They showed me an image, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, the image when I see these things, like I
Right.
can see images,
Mm-hmm.
pictures, but it's not very clear.
Right.
And They
And
just
it's
look.
probably just like a flash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no, it stays. No, I can sit
Oh,
here and look at
really?
it. Yes. Now, the problem with the writings on the walls is a lot of times I don't know where they start, where they end, where the
Hmm.
new place starts, where, so I have difficulty keeping up. And a lot of times it's not like someone just took a computer and did it up there. It's more like
Yeah.
someone hand wrote it, or, I mean, it would be printed, but you can tell it was like with a pen or something.
Hmm.
Very strange, and it can be anywhere. It can be on this drink can right here. If I can just start looking, and it's probably one of the scariest things I've had to learn to deal with
Yeah.
in the last couple of years that it's happened. A near death experience triggered that.
Yeah.
That's when that came about, and it
And
never
this
went away.
happens when you're highly stressed.
Yeah, or near death.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've almost bled to death a few times, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's very strong. Then,
Good.
um, yeah, ooh, I don't want to go there too much.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
No.
just talk about what you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
I can't think of any more questions that I have.
I'm sorry if I flip flopped around, guys.
No, that's fine. That's interesting.
No, it's been very interesting.
Your experiences are
Mm.
interesting. And I'm hoping that if you have more that happens to you, which, might happen, you can come back.
I had one happen 15 minutes before we got to
Right?
Yeah.
doc.
That's
I
crazy.
really did. Um, I couldn't believe it.
You
Yeah.
never
You know
know.
that
I
woman
know.
that was there,
Uh,
that I trained for the 2 days that brought me the Bible.
Uh-huh.
I
uh,
never saw her again. He worked
Huh.
those 2 days, gave me that Bible, and quit.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
some interesting facts about the Bible that may tie into that a little bit. Um, the woman that Jesus first met, the prostitute, she had 5 husbands. This woman came, she said she had 5 husbands before, and that God had spoke to her and told her she had a purpose, which could have been just to give me that Bible at that moment.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Sometimes
the
weird things like
woman
that happen.
the woman that died in the room, I can't say too much about her,
Okay.
but she got a brand new hairdryer for Christmas, right? She threw it away in the trash.
Huh.
And we went and dug it out, and we're like, "No, no, this is your new hairdryer." I found her dead 6 weeks later in that room,
Wow.
a hairdryer in her hand.
Oh, wow.
Foaming out of the mouth. Now, it's ruled heart attack. I
Hmm.
can't say much, but
Hmm.
this is the room that I found the lamp in. Did she know something about that hairdryer before it ever happened to her? Would you think, why
Maybe.
would you throw a brand new hairdryer away?
Yeah.
Brand new out the box.
Yeah.
And then she died with that thing in her hands.
Wow. That's
That was
amazing.
another reason I wanted to check her room for evil.
Hmm.
These things will hide in anything, guys. Lamps, anything they
Yeah.
can get into. They're very fast. They can maneuver between different, they can manifest themselves in different ways into different
Hmm.
things very quickly.
Well, I mean, we know they can get into like electronics.
Hmm.
That's and her foaming out the mouth like that is a heart attack. Is that usually a sign of that, or would that be electrocution causing a heart attack? You know,
Yeah.
but it's something they never determined,
Hmm.
and I could not go back on. But
Yeah.
it just makes me wonder. And me finding that lamp right above her room in the attic, and then when I removed that lamp, guys, there's there's been no more haunting. I've not seen the big tall guy. I've not seen the kids in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Well,
We had,
maybe they were
oh,
attached to that lamp.
I brought the lamp home. Okay, I kept the lamp for about 3 days,
Hmm.
and dude, this thing. If I got out of my car and I went to the store, I've locked my keys in the car because of it. It locked the doors.
Oh,
Like, it
wow.
didn't want anyone to get a hold of this thing.
Right.
And honestly, I can say, holding in my 2 hands, that it was the most evil object I ever felt. It burnt me alive back here. So I'm sitting in the car out here, and I asked God. I said, "God, if you want me to destroy it," I said, "flick the lights." Flick, flick. I'm like, oh, shit. You know, I'm my own critic, my own
Yeah.
skeptic.
Mhm.
I said, flick the lights again, then, if you want me to destroy it. Flick, flick. I said, nah. Said, third time's the charm. I said, flick them one more time and I'll destroy it. Flick, flick. I
Yeah.
immediately took that lamp out of the car and I stomped it with my boots out there in the driveway. I collected every piece, or what I thought was every piece, and I did throw it in the garbage, which was stupid. I should have buried it or something.
Yeah.
And I put a note in this thing that said, absolutely do not, try to reassemble or touch this thing. I said, God bless you if you do. And I put a little note in there.
Mhm.
I rode around for probably another week in the car, and I kept getting this heat signal again in the car. And I'm like, where's this coming from? And I reached down the floorboard and look, and there's a little bitty piece of that lamp still in there.
Hmm.
And when I removed it, it stopped.
Yeah. Wow.
But it drove my senses wild.
I'm sure.
And you saw the picture of it. It's not exact. I mean, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I would have
Yeah.
loved to keep it. I
Yeah, it
just,
was.
I even thought
I
about
didn't
it
see the
before I
picture
broke
of
it.
it.
Oh, I'll
I
have
can
sent
send
it.
it to you in the
Yeah.
group.
Okay.
I didn't see
Yeah.
it in there. Yeah.
We'll send
This
it.
thing was beautiful, and it was the apple from the Garden of Eden. And you think she brought me that Bible that day,
Mhm.
the lamp. That word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I stomped the lamp out here in the yard,
Mhm.
but God could have given me the apple, you know?
Right.
So how did the piece of lamp get in the floorboards?
After I broke it, I gathered all the pieces and I put it in
Oh,
the
okay.
trash can, but I dropped
Okay.
it in the car.
Okay.
But it let me know that even that small piece of that lamp was still there. It was what was amazing. The whole
Yeah.
lamp wasn't there, but just a little,
Thankfully.
yeah.
That would be terrible
That
if
heat
you
stuff
looked
normally
under
good.
there and that was the whole lamp reassembled again.
Reassembled itself.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that'd be horrifying.
That would be a little scary.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good movie.
Actually, that would sound like a good movie, wouldn't it?
If it reassembled itself.
Yikes. Do you
Too bad it
ever
isn't like a movie to me, it's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things Jody and I have been kind of somewhat tracking is like glitches. Do you ever have any glitches where things
Not
just
that I can really say, no. I've seen some, like
Mhm.
glitches in the Matrix, so they say.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I've given some thought into this too, though. If we're in a Matrix, could not like the demons and things be hackers? People hacking into the Matrix because it's like a computer, and these people with low functioning brain, they can hack into that much easier and not have to spend a lot of time getting by what natural firewalls we would have up, or
Yeah.
And so I've given that some thought too.
Yeah.
I don't rule anything out. Like I said, they reacted to a god that I don't worship. So
Yeah. That's interesting.
Well, I don't know. I can't think of anything else that our listeners may have some questions for you.
that's
we always-
fine.
We always open our email up to any experiences that our listeners may have, like yours.
Okay.
We're at our email is thespooky666@gmail.com.
Can you send me a link to that?
Sure, absolutely. And we'll send any
And I'll
questions
be
along
happy
your
to
way.
respond to
Okay,
any.
cool.
And I can probably do it better typing just because I'm just more savvy that way.
Yeah. Some of us are. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anything else happens, guys, I'll be happy to let you guys know and keep you filled
Please do.
in.
Yeah.
Love to have you
Do
on
let
again.
us know. Yeah.
Okay. And it's great to meet you all, and I appreciate you having me.
Likewise.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
And thank you
for
for
sharing
being
your
on.
experiences. Yes,
You're welcome.
appreciate
All
it.
right.
All right,
Bye-bye.
we'll talk to you soon. Bye.